4-month letter after Rocash tournament accident, he has been hiding all this time, constantly on the run from the authorities. He is in no place to negotiate with them. After his brilliant and elaborate outburst, the world knows the killer of one-up its hero. People now live in fear of Kaimayos again. Then news is broadcasting, as the current Kaimayos ban in effect, the total ban of use of talent in public arenas has left many wondering, how far will this go? Is our past returning to haunt us? As a result, Kaimayo discrimination have also risen, local businesses also refusing to serve non-human customers. There is someone holding a large big red bag on his back and still hearing the news. Head Chancellor in a press conference stated, "The fate of Kaimayos in this country is hanging by a thread and he is unsure what awaits them at the bottom." Then we saw a girl, scar on her face and listening that news, and that big red bag is on his back, and she is Andrea Thomas, Leo Thomas' daughter. She said, she should find Chu, she thinks, another Kaimayo ban? Mankind tend to misuse peace, they haven't the slightest idea how maintain it. Human fear is one hell of thing, they seem to have forgotten our past. The war is not as far back in our history as many like to think. Then we saw history of wars. Years ago, Kaimayo and human were at each other's throats. The Kaimayo population rose since the first birth in 1542, with newfound power Kaimayo's lust for domination grew. Why should humans rule and dictate the law of land? 1/3 of population being Kaimayo, many desired not just to rule, but to wipe out the human race, creating a pure bloodline of evolution. Human were forced to band together, all nation united against his common foe. They defended their lands and people throughout the carnage, while Kaimayo hunted and slaughtered millions. However, not all Kaimayos walks that path, but those corrupted were led, influenced, and commanded by one man. Cain, the father of the entire rebellion. Cain's power polluted his mind. The world labels the top 150 most powerful talent user of the estimated 2.5 billion Kaimayos. Within those ranks, the top 10 are referred to as the God tier. Cain himself was number 1. Through his influence, the war lasted 124 years, ending in 1957. Cain was seen as mankind's greatest enemy. In later years, human developed a mean of incarnating persons which such powerful tenant, but as powerful as he was, Cain was assassinated by the hand of war heroes, the heroes that fought for mankind. The event that led to that fatal battle are as follows. Then Trinidad and Tobago, East Kawa, 1942. There are children standing in row, the lady officer said, so these are the kid volunteers. Told HQ this is a terrible idea, but whatever, let's see, 12 kids. You all sign the form. She is Colonel Catherine Forbes. She said, she will be yours new commanding officer from this day forward. She knows most if not all of you have lost your parents, that is why you joined this camp. We appreciate your offering yourself to the National Army. We will separate the training, with the state of world is in. We can use all help we can get against Cain. She continue, your new life begin today, gird up your minds, because with your help, we will begin restoring what once was. Then we saw, that boy thinking that. Our training begin the following day, we were treated well, fed, clothed. This place he still wonders why he even volunteered to come here. Guess he just grew tired of searching, it feels safe here, he had seen enough death. Then someone interrupt his thinks by calling him. He turned there and saw one of a girl wave his hand say, hi, we see you by yourself all the time. She is Elsa and this is Kevin. You are so quiet, how old are you? Then that boy said, 8, Elsa said, Kevin here is still so young so she can't live his side, mom's last orders you know. Let's be friend, everyone needs company. Then the boy blush and smile and agree with that, and thinks, she's so cute. Then there is raining outside and war is broke out on far away, a soldier informed Colonel Cain's forces. Colonel said, we were supposed to be secure. How the hell did they find us? When this is over, find me the rat. Then one soldier said, we inform the major immediately, he is already arrived. Then Colonel said, take me to him. Then we saw a man in a hat is standing there while smoking. He is Major Jamie Altham, they called him, the wolf spider. Colonel said, "She don't know how they found us, Jamie, she's evacuating." Jamie said, "He could have done without this drama today. Catherine, HQ is sending an airstrike, let's wait it out." Then some soldier saving children's and one of soldier said, "Major, we retrieved the kids but 3 are still missing in the camp." Jamie is shocked, then he prepares to go. A soldier said, "Major, the airstrike," he said, "get behind the safe line." Colonel smiled and said, "Be sure to give them hell." Then there Jamie standing on a stone and many cane soldiers standing in front of him. One said, "Look boys, more men flesh." Then there is Kane's men, they look dangerous beast, they are Kaimyo user. Then one of them said, "Where are the rest of your May maggot friends hiding?" And another said, "Speak, and perhaps we sphere your life." Then Jamie take off his hat, then he open his fingers, their red web appears, there a web net made, and all beast men binding and caught all of them in that web and said, "Stand aside, his talent is death web." Then there are 3 children in a house, Elsa and Kevin, crying while that hat wearing boy said, "We can't stay here, they'll find us." Then that girl crying and said, "Will we be safe?" The boy said, "He won't let anything happen to either of you." After that a beast man turned that house and see that boy, then they 3 run from there while many beast men chasing them. The boy still said, "Don't stop running," and there was a hideout. The girls asked, "What about you? They will get us?" Then that boy looked at them and said, "He promised you had be safe." Then the boy's hair start burning and Elsa is watching him surprise eyes. Then that boy's is a Kaimyo user, his both hand burst into fire, shouted, "Now hurry." Then there Jamie is killing Kane's soldiers with his death web talent with his death, and beside on other side the boy is killing them with burn their head. Jamie death web is still rampaging and killing their group, while the boys also killing more and more with throwing his fire on them. Then Jamie noticed there is a big fire, he ran there and wonder what the hell happened here? Those smells are those burnt bodies. Hope those kids are okay. Then he saw something with surprise eyes. Then that boy think, before today, he didn't know what my life purpose was. Then that boy slowly blow out his hands fire, thinking this power not by chance, and then there a burnt body laying on ground. Jamie asked, "What is your name, boy?" He said, "Leo Thomas," and burning sign on head and all round burned corpses. Then in present, we saw Chu holding a photo of his teacher and his friends with him. Then we again saw in the past, Prco 1957, Trinidad, a soldier said, "Serge, there's way too many, we are done. This is slaughter, we can't sit here any longer." Then Serge smiled and said, "Just wait." Then soldier scream, "On what?" Then we saw there are a plane, while soldier is surprised and Serge is happy. Then that plane start firing bullets on rebellions, the muzzle is keep firing. Leo said, "2 cases left, sir." While Jamie said, "Damn it." Then on ground 2 beast man there, one of them preparing some kind of attack power, and green beast men said, "The human have air support. Shoot it down now." Then in the plane Leo opened his safety belt and said, "Switching to active support mode." And he come out his cockpit while Jamie said, "Hurry up, private, the men this opening to retreat," and Leo agree, and he jump over the plane wings. He said, "In position, sir." He is standing on plane. Then that dangerous beast man is still preparing the attack and said, "General, that aircraft is closing in, permission to fire." That green man said, "Too late," and then there is a big blast happened, and that was Leo. He did that from plane. Soldier are talking about, is that the major's apprentice? All Kane's beast men are burning on ground, and Leo then take off his mask and safety helmet. Jamie asked, "Why would you take your mask off?" Leo said, "Cause he look way cooler." Then he asked, "Master, he think he can be more assistant if he is on the ground with our men. He is heading down." Jamie said, "He'll kill you if you leave this plane," while Leo smiles and said, "Too late," and he unlock his hook, and jumps from plane. With pressure of wind his mouth is open wide, he think probably should have kept the mask on. Then 3 Kaimyo beast men panics to see that talking about shooting him, in a house Jamie interrogating someone, he threatened him badly, he is enemy General Iskorov, he feared and agreed to tell everythings, Jamie said, congratulations on being the smartest kid in your class. Then we saw Jamie tied many enemy on his head and said, your friend should have shared in your wisdom, and outside Leo is killing everyone on his way with his fire. Hours later Jamie reports his mission to Colonel Catherine, they talk about Leo, how Jamie is guiding him like big brother. Then Colonel give him another mission that they located another Kane air base, she wants to those plane destroyed, she don't have a team so you will be alone, take Leo if you wish. Leo wants his own plane because of previous success mission, Jamie said, he do not trust you with a can opener, boy, a fighter plane? No, but pack your bags, we have a raided mission, if you don't run off this time, he might let you fly us home. Then Leo happy and his eyes is bright shining. After sometimes Elsa meet Leo and cognate him to his mission and said, you better come back to me handsome, and Leo said, always babe. Then we saw air base controlled by Kane, there's plane approaching toward base and Jamie said, this is food storage and distributor center, limit combat as much as possible, we just need to destroy those planes beyond repair, the place will be swarmed by Kane's soldiers. Then Jamie is hanging with the ceiling with his web and there is an enemy beneath him. Then Leo is killing one of them and said, look like we got them all, but that doesn't look good, he said, master do you remember all the missing person reports? He think we found them, there is a container, there are many people in it, Jamie said, that bastard Kane is taking hostages, we cannot ignore this. Then they silently approach to a hide place, Jamie said, change of plan, the cargo plane are not just for rations, but to also move the civilian meats shield. We do this quickly and quietly. Then there are 3 men walking, Leo said, who's that over there? Jamie shocked to see and sweat drops from his head, he said, devil, while Leo surprised face asked, master, what did you see? Jamie said, curse this man, what the hell are you doing here? You are supposed to be hiding overseas. We have been trying to locate you for years, of all the worst possible time, you choose to show up at a casual airbase. Then we saw the Kane, the demon Kaimyo, there is blue light on his eyes and cheeks, his mouth is stitches, there is a burning head floating on his side and a big blue eye snake wrapping around him. Then Leo is reporting that Colonel sending the entire army, because it's a God-given opportunity, Jamie said, we cannot wait that long, at this rate this operation is moving, Kane will be gone in 30 minutes, we have one option, stall by challenging the number 1, while smile proudly. And says, best way to die. Then we saw, there are many soldier around Kane. Then sudden Jamie's death web attach with dagger attack them all, soldier hit by that but Kane's snake deflects his attack. Then Kane turned there and raise his hand toward, a fireball attack coming toward him, and stop that big fireball easily. Kane is stood there without any worry and Kane said, the army. Kane's voice sound like 1,000 souls speaking simultaneously, while Jamie and Leo survive that blast. Leo said, do you have a minute to talk about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? Demon Kaimyo, Kane is 7 feet in height standing there with his big snake is wrapping him, they both like partner. Then beside Kane, floating head said, 2 soldiers. Have you come to play the allegiance to us as you new master? Then Jamie said, just some reckless troop looking for excitement, follow my lead Leo. While they ready to fighting position, then Kane raised his hand and said, we were not through talking, and Jamie shouted to Leo dodge that attack while Leo said, yes sir. Then there is a blast happened, Jamie back off speedily and Leo is jump above with his flame. Then Kane said, futile. Then their ground is cracking and Leo is shocked to see, the ground from his behind is uplift while surrounding him from behind. Then he smash it and then his master says, move from there, but the ground is still chasing him all around from there, and it's like water wave is try to engulf Leo in it, Leo trying to escape from there but can't. Leo said, how long can he keep this up? Ground chasing him many layers, all approaching towards Leo, while Leo is fly above, then one of his leg is caught by ground, it slowly engulfing him into under, then the Jamie come with his death web and said, enough of this Kane, and then snake is hissing, and Jamie's death web spread through that ground, there is Leo's hand up, then Jamie cut all those ground's layers and Leo free from that capture and from there and come towards Kane, then Jamie said, do you know how his talent work Leo? He throw his death web knife and said, this is then Ados, it's not joke, legend says it take 3 talents of equals to subdue, so Leo, your new mission is to survive. Leo said, yes sir, while he preparing his fire attack and throw his attack to Kane, then sudden snake coming from that fire attack and try to bite the Leo, but he dodge it barely, then Jamie runs toward him and said, do not let the snake bite you, it's part of his talent, once he grab you, he is activated, Cerberus the Great. Serpent absorb the person's soul for his master, while Jamie and Leo attack both side. Kane said, you have done your research, however, you both should have stayed in your mother's womb, while they all glare each other, while Leo smiling said, you should fire the guy who sewed your mouth shut, it's a poorly done job. Then there is Colonel Catherine with his big axe and battle uniform, she said, she want us at that air base yesterday, then Elsa asked, how many tanks do we take? Colonel said, we carry every damn thing, Private Elsa. Here they both fight with Kane, and Kane also dealing their attack easily, Leo attack his fire kick, Kane dodges it, then Kane grab Jamie's face and he throw them both from his power, they thrown away and land on the ground roughly. Jamie said, army almost here, stay alive boy, and he said, yes sir, while on ground, then Leo saw civilian cage, he said, he can't use Ilios here, then floating head asked, are your loved ones alive? Then Jamie put his hand on ground and said, we are not interested in yours threats, then he preparing his death web his ground hand, while floating head said, if you follow us, we will pardon your sins and spare the lives of those you love. Then he put his both hand and preparing web attack and crashing the ground and binding Kane with his death web prison, and Jamie said, now it's your time Leo. Then Leo is preparing a dagger embedded with fire and he transform into Ilios mode, then that dagger transform into a big fire sword, and then he approached towards captured Kane, then Kane closed his eyes and said, what a shame, then Leo said, you monster fight me, then the Kane said, very well then, after that Jamie screamed Leo to fall back, the big snake breaking that death web and try to devour Leo and said, give us your soul, then Jamie soon binding the Leo and pull back from there, Kane said, you dare try to touch us? Then he raised his hand on civilian's cage and said, their blood shall be on your hands. Then Leo saw this and he ran there, Leo is running said, hang on, then he stand in front of cage, cross his hand in attack blocking position, then Jamie bind him around his web and pull back from there and said, stupid boy, Leo screaming, wait, master no, then Kane raised his hand and said, meaningless sacrifice, while Jamie said, he did not adopt you for you to die here, and then death web prepared all around and said, the greatest were the time he stood beside you as your brother, and then he stand in front of that container, spreading his death web all around toward coming attack, and there are many people stand behind cage, and he said, your purpose in this life is higher than his, Leo, your talent will save us, it was an honor to be your guide, while tear in his eye he thanked him, then Colonel Catherine advancing his soldiers while he is holding a tank's gun on her soldier and other hand her axe. He screaming all the man that 2 of our men's lives are on the lines, we have waited for this moment, defeat Kane, and save our own, one soldier said, on the hill, there Kane's army is in front of them, then we saw the civilian cage is saved, but all around his wall and ground are cracked and crumbled, Leo is sitting there hopeless, while Jamie's half upper portion is on the wall and half lower is beside him, he died a heroic and tragic death, then Kane said, so brittle, the body of a laser Chimayo, then Leo burst into scream while his one eye's crying and other eye bursting into fire, Kane said, oh, you choose to continue. Then there is a Leo's fire tornado bursting going on while Kane said, do you know whose flame you carry, boy? The power you hold, Our talents share a common history. Then Leo breathed out fire and said, then Atos, and Leo transform into a fire god, and Cain said, that's right, you wield the sibling talent to ours, brother Ilios, and their colonel Catherine fiercely fighting with Cain's army and desperately try to reach there as soon as possible. Cain continue his story that, many years ago, before the world knew about Kaimayo, before the first recorded non-human birth, there was a family of 4 brothers born in Greece who possessed a talent. They were known as the first Kaimayos. Then Leo is running towards Cain, then he shield around himself while Leo punching there, all over surround their fire, while Cain continue his story, the first man, these souls carried the first talents to walk the earth, the locals do not know what to do. In the face of such power, so they did what man does best, they worshipped them as gods. We both carry one of the great 4 talents, the talents that is started it all. Join us Ilios, stand not in our way as in time past, they shall exalt our true power. Childhood still not in our village in time past, while Leo is trying to his best to fight with him while shield is still protecting Cain. Cain further said, refuse, and you shall taste true fear. Then Leo said, what you have done with your gift angers him beyond comprehension, your existence hurt the earth, he was given order to survive, and you choose to kill the man who gave him those order. Then Leo is start burning in blue flame and a big blue flaming wing spread through his back. He said, and how strong you made him. Then Cain said, to oppose, is a fool choice. Leo thinks, the then Atos talent, he can't win, then he fly towards him and still thinking that, he can give his life for the sake of others. Cain said, your death will leave you no honor. And prepare his shield and said, our mind is as a god's. Then the protecting shield is start breaking and Leo punching that shield with his bluish fire hand, the shield is cracked, Cain is surprised and panics, herder Cerberus to devour his soul. Then Leo said, Master, he hope you are proud of who he have become. Then he put his hand on Cerberus's mouth and then Cerberus is biting him while Cain is laughing and said, your final mistake, Ilios. Then he sudden felt something off. He said, wait, a trick. He knew we would drop our shield in order to grab him. Then Leo prepare a attack with another hand. Leo hit him with his blue fire on his stomach. Cain scream in pain and discharge his power. Leo is thrown away on ground. He laying on the ground while from the cage people is calling help. Then there from Cain's body many souls are escaping while Cain try to hold it but he can't hold it. Leo said, now's his chance. Help civilian, and he'll have to push the cage. Then he exhaust fire with leg and pushing with them, then the cage is falling from above, and here from Cain's body soul are still escaping while floating head said, our souls. Cain asked, General, how much longer? Then General shouted, the aircraft is ready, we must go now, my Führer. Now Catherine is ordering his mans that our primary objective is civilian safety. Then we find Cain, then there Leo is on the ground. Cain somehow managed to evade capture, he ran from there in plane. Colonel said, the immediate evacuation of all the hostages. Then Colonel is crying while holding Jamie's corpse in his arms, she thinks, she should have died that day. 1 month later, the General Hospital, a soldier knocking the door, and one soldier said, Major Leo Thomas, while Leo is on the bed, he said, yes, Cain was dead, he is succumbed to his injuries, as expected, Master, and he were labeled war heroes, he accepted Master medal on his behave, people treat him like some kind of savior, he hate the damn fame, why wouldn't he, it reminds him the day he could not save the one who saved him. Then we saw, Battle of Waterloo 1815, in the field there are two sides, one side blue uniform Napoleon's French army and other side red uniform English army, then there is French general ordering his man to fire and said, today we shall seize control over Waterloo. On other side soldiers said, Colonel Blücher, French just got reinforcement, they already pushed us to the trenches, do we retreat? Sir, then Colonel said, you must send for the Reaper, we can't win this as is. Unlike today 1/3 of the population, Kaimayos were rare for centuries, many wars were won not by mortal men but by Kaimayos, then a soldier running from urgency, A messenger. Then that man shouted, "Sir, Napoleon has sent an immense amount of enforcements, Colonel request, we need the Reaper." Then that man put off his hat and said, he hoped he would not force my hand by making him send you, Reaper. There is a man sitting there, he said, he is a soldier, he desire no special treatment, he here to serve his countries. That man the Reaper has many cuts in on his chest and there is a purple light emitting from there. Then the master said, you better return here at one piece my boy, that's an order, your country still need you. Then Reaper riding horse and running toward French army them while there is a determination is on face. Then Colonel, and said to his men, all right, head down now, all of you get in the trenches. This is end to Napoleon forces. If you want to live, head down now. Then French army stand there while a horseman is coming there, they thin, a lone soldier. Then there is two gun firing that hit the Reaper's horse and he jumped over and landed on the ground. Then he saw them angrily and preparing, there is a purple light all around, then there is a mark on his beside abdominal, he raise his hand and there is a whip release from there and that goes bigger and long and there is a giant axe on whip last ending and he grab the whip and scream loudly and he spin that whip with axe in circle around half a kilometer and in another hand also has a axe like weapon. Then he again raise his weapon and countless soldier is on in mid-air and some soldier still holding his head lower, Reaper ripping his enemies with his whip, he jump over mid-air and smashing them into half. All soldiers are panic and firing everyone, while one by one is going to death. Then one soldier trying to load his gun, he appeared in front him, Reaper still on rampage all round and killing all of them while all the soldiers call back, they have a demon. Then there is General, who seeing all this standing there in freezing position and then all around soldier is running. The efforts of man cannot erase the work of the great Kaimayos of old, who fought alongside mankind. Kaimayos may have been rare then but many paid for the peace we enjoy today with their lives. Then Reaper standing on their both hands has weapon holding. In the modern time the world has grown to embrace them, living together required active effort from all governments, besides, what else would life without them? Their gifts to help society, they add beauty and colors to this world. Protect the brother walking beside you. Doctor is surprised to see Leo's report and he said, this is incredible, all your wounds is gone and heal. There is Leo standing and doctor smile and said, he have never seen healing to such extent. Now doctor said the result of successful talent transfer. A week later, Changquanas fly over, there were many cars running as usual. Then a blast happened, there was two Kaimayo user the Samal brothers, they said, fixed your eyes on our hulking manly bodies, today we bring death and judgment. They destroy all your pipeline, your road on construction. Police cars reached there, Inspector Ian said, take them down, and they firing bullet but nothing happened to them as they one of steel body and one is solid rock. Then steel body Kaimayo throw a car on police officers that blast there many police injured. Then someone running toward them he is above while two brothers still talking the police. That man jumps over then below there is another man who is running, while they smashing police cars and going to beat the policeman. Sudden a half mini truck hits stone brother and when steel brother turn he hits by fire, they both trembling on ground. Then there is two man standing there and one of rhino hide and one is fireman. Then two brothers who said, you think we were not prepared for you too? Not this time, we shall merge and become Ultra Samalsing. Then they both merge and there is four arms with two rock and two with steel, and half steel body and half rock body. Then they both prepare to fight. Then one of police officer asked, sir, what do we do? Then inspector answer, clear the bridge and give them space, this is no longer our fight. Then fireman jumps above, jumps over and hit them with fur, while rhino is preparing his punch. Then they said, friend of the government, enemy of the people. Then they block the rhino's punch with a punch while ground is crumbling with shock wave. Then again a fireball hit them. Then they said, come on, enough. Flame boy. Then they notice rhino is not there. Then he appear on his head and he said, right here. Then he grabbed their neck, he said, it's time now chew. Then fire all around him, preparing something. Fire bubble appeared his hand and he mold them in a fire spear. Then two brother feared and said, wait, we were joking, Come on man, we can still talk about this, right? Then Chu had ready to throw his fire spear and he throw him on them. That fire javelin is coming very fast while hitting him on the chest. He was scream and there is a kaboom, and then threat neutralize and police officer binding them into a device. Then Inspector Ian thanks them, and said, he owe you one. Then one of officer said, Inspector sorry to interrupt you but he didn't be supposed to arrest all Kaimayos use. Inspector said, what are you talking about, we already arrested all the Kaimayos, seen here. Then they both were laughing and Chu said, take care of your men, Inspector, and they said, goodbye. Then we saw guest mansion of Hemlock, they come here and said, we are back another crazy day, thanks again for letting us stay here, Uncle Hemlock. Then Uncle smiled and said, don't mention it, welcome home. Then Chu asked about Rokash, that Louise said, Azam is working on it, he'll update us when he finds something. Then Louise asked about regulator which Chu is wearing it, he said, it working well, Ilios is under control for now. Then Andrea said, you two were all over the news, as usual, your javelin was sloppy asshud. Chu yelling her and said, that javelin Andrea was a work of art. Then Andrea laughing loudly and said, it was so weak, imagine if it believe up in your face, she crying, while Chu and said, but it didn't. Chu coming from the house. Then Andrea there said, the Hemlock Mansion the only Japanese style architecture in the city, this place should be a tourist attraction. She said well since there is a Kaimayo ban and we are literally had in here. He think guest would be a bad idea, Andrea said, you are going there again today, she will be happy to see you. Later that evening West Coast Orphanage, Chu is going there, he go to reception and then there was a lady, she recognized him and said, Chu, he said, Miss Farmer, you can't say my name now, the whole arrest Kaimayos remember? Then Miss Farman said, or dear, it's been 6 months, she has asked for you almost every day, since your last visit, she think, she will be passed out when see you. Then he is in front of a door said, it's me. Then door open, he said, he know he should have called. Then a girl jump over him and hugging him very tightly and said, brother, he is here now, love. Then he is on that little girl's room and he is holding a notebook. Chu said, he knew you were smarter than me, but this grades are amazing. Then that girl binding his ear and said, those classes are too slow, she's the head of the class. Chu making fun face and said, is that overconfidence he hear you young lady? So if you come first place in exam what is he commanded to grant you this time? She smirked and said, take her to see Uncle Kevin and the others. He said, deal, anything for you, Yukiko. While she is red face and folding her hands said, she know you your fighting money pays for me to stay here, but he hates seeing your scars, stupid, he said, he hope you forgive me soon enough, he gotta go now, remember to brush your teeth. They hugging happily while she said, okay. Then there is a beautiful day, mansion of Hemlock, Andrea come along there and said, okay, listen up boys, today's the day you have been waiting for, it's show and tell, impress me with your progress, demonstrate what you have learned, she have shown you your weaknesses, and overcoming them in your only way forward. If you manage to move me, she will tell you what her talent is and what is in this bag. Then she smiled and said, and trust me she's not that easy to impress, after all, she's the granddaughter of Leo Thomas. All 5 boys are standing there while listening, show me you are no average Kaimayos. Then she said, Kevin, grace us with that new upgraded rhino hide. His friends said, you got this stone man. Then he transformed into rhino hide. Andrea said, she never knew one could upgrade a hide talent, what other hide can you forge? Kevin said, he have 3 hides, rhino, lion, blacksmith. Rhino is limitless and difficult hide, then lion hide is all power but little, it uses stamina as fuel so my max activation is currently 20 seconds. Blacksmith is a combination of hide that use my blood as fuel. Last time he tried his heart stopped, then he show you why he's the tank of the team. Then there is a wind blowing around, he transformed into lion hide with eyes glowing and he is behind bigger aura, Andrea thinks it's incredible, then suddenly there is a wind blowing from behind and his hide form gone, she said. Did just he fart? Then it's Chu and he prepare a javelin, she said. Stone dummy, the track go below your feet, whatever you do stand your ground. Then he prepare mask and then, he hit one of the dummy and cut it into half, while Andrea thinks, you were able to use close combat by wielding your javelin in a naginata style, the successor of Ilios, you have progressed so well, and she smiling while Chu is prepare his attack to add bullseye and throw him and set go, that javelin going very fast and hit the bullseyes, then she said, sloppy but not bad, Mr. Hart, now it awesome time show her what you've got, 15 target 3 second, is ready, and then go sign with that he vanished and she think, youngest but smartest, you added a blunt weapon to your tactical armament awesome, with a haste type talent, you can now make devastating impact with less effort, brilliant, then we saw awesome is kicking the props and hitting with his weapons while smiling, then it's time for Louise, Kevin said, the contents of the bag is our sole mission. While Chu said, liberate us, Louise, then Andrea said, hey boys, play your cards right, and she will open it all for you, then all boys nosebleed, Andrea said, the Hamlocks are pretty famous, Louise, she heard from Grandpa that your family talent is the most creative. Then we saw Louise starting his talent, they're all over ashes and it spread through, then Andrea said, but what can Ash really do? All surprised to see something is above there, then Louise ashes flying all there, his eyes is black, he is above mid-air, he said, Ash Hydra. Talent control and manipulate a massive ash, then their three-headed Hydra created by ashes and Louise mounted one of them heads, then slowly he landed while Hydra are slowly vanished, Andrea said, wipe that stupid grin of your face, not bad, she's not going to lie, that freaked her out for a sec, you boys aren't as incompetent as she thought, your brain actually possess the capacity to learn, but you are definitely gonna need to top that, Anton, otherwise there will be no talent reveal, and you will have to keep guessing what's in the bag. Anton said, no pressure right? That settle it, you are an evil Leo, Andrea said, now tell me, what can you do Mr. Anton? Chu said, you might want to step back Andrea, Anton's talent has two part, you know the passive part, where he create unbreakable rod, but Anton actually has a shift talent, which has its own talent. The rods, the shift talent that control the rods is what you will be witnessing today, he can use his shift talent without its permission, but he avoids shifting because it's a bit untamed, then Anton put his finger in nose and said, beast shift, Kong 30%, his fiends thinks, 30% we should be fine, right? Then there is Anton sitting there with his tail and he is half monkey face and he said, you called the mighty Kong? After that Andrea said, wolf cubs of Leo Thomas, accepting her as your teacher means you are prepared for my high standard of elegance, she is impressed but only barely cause Rokash won't be an easy opponent, he's 97 in the world's top 150, if you want to stand a chance, you will need to be much stronger than this, for failing to measure up to her standards, there will be no bag opening and no talent reveal. Then she lifted her bag on his back and said, training will resume in the morning. While all the boys shouting, that night, overlooking the Hamlock mansion, someone talking that, they appear to have had an ability showcase today, slay the master yet his offspring still carry his banner, then behind that phone man said, master the longer we wait, then that man said, we are not ready, let her groom them Kaguya, their time will soon come, and we will there to be the reclaim what was taken from us, then a beautiful day there is someone sneezing and in the ground there is a big blast happened and a wind blows coming from that blast, that hit the wall and that was half pieces of a robot and he smiling, then from that wind someone said, this wasn't part of the plan guys. And that robot shouting, Eva, a flying half robot half human and DOM, who is some kind of robot too, Eva said, she didn't sign up for this ridiculousness Clade, he's bloody sadistic, then Rokash is appearing from dust while smiling. Eva said, and why the hell is he butt naked, put some clothes on, You perv with a glass eyes. Then Rokash said, you actually survived, are those robots parts? Of my, he's enjoying this, he have been cooped up in this hideout for so long he almost forget what this felt like, forgive him he haven't let his animalistic him nature loose in month. He continues said, he have so many questions for you three, like what were you thinking, entering a pit bull's home? Beyond that, this junkyard has been abandoned for years, so you didn't find me through luck, a man like me as your target means you were sent, he hoped they warned you of his talent, allow me to introduce you to and then he activate his talent Anu Ankh. Far from there two men watching all this fight from behind, then Masked Man said, we should have sent a larger number of Titans Master, then Master said, no, Kaguya, he have no expectation for them to emerge victorious, this is simply a field test to determine the strength of our taste subjects, who better than the Egyptian Kaimayo himself. Then we saw that Lady Eva turn his hand into two sword and screamed, you arrogant clown, she will carve that grin off your face, and she flight towards him while roaring sound, Rokash smiling said, a banshee talent, then he launch a slash attack that cuts Eva's one hand along with her one wing, then he grab another wing and Rokash said, yet you're nothing more than oversized pigeon. Then he pulled down on ground and said, and you are in my home uninvited, then Eva crying with fear and said, please wait, while Rokash smiled psychopathically and said, no mercy in beneath him, then he crushed Eva's head with his leg and he is smile widely and says, so you do bleed, then Dom angrily said, you bastard, run toward Rokash and swing his hammer, which he easily dodged by jumping above, then Dom vibrate speedily and said, you will not escape that easily, while Rokash in mid-air he felt something, he shocked, Dom activated his forced magnetic attraction and while Rokash is forced to ground, then Dom swing his hammer and said, die, while Rokash dodging it, he landed on ground for second and again jump over while Dom is swing his hammer horizontally, then they both face to face Rokash said, while in mid-air, what a shame for a bounty hunter to die this quickly, thin head, Dom sudden gunfire and said, you narcissistic prick, Rokash dodging that bullet and said, this prick have already killed you, haha. Then Dom's both hands cut down by slash attach of Rokash, then Rokash used his Anu Ankh impulse talent. In his hand a sign appeared and he hit him with that on Dom's stomach and that Sai Anu Ankh attacks come from his back, blood spilled everywhere, Rokash think, as he suspected, you are neither 100% Kaimayo or 100% cybernetic material, then Honor and his nephew come there and said, yo, we are here, boss, but not like you needed our help, why are you naked, then Rokash said, what? He was in shower when they showed up? Then his nephew said, assassin. And Honor said, you picked the wrong crew, man, while seeing one of assassin, Rokash said, do you have any idea how hard it was to find a secure location like this where we could hide? You messed with a man's living, tin head, you will tell me how you locate us, perfectly while you still have a tongue, while his nephew said, you need pants, then the man smiled and said, Rokash, this is a far greater reward than any paycheck, he will go down in history as the one who killed the great Egyptian Kaimayo, then he raised his hand and there is a powerful blast coming to them and there is a big blast happened and all over the black smoke coming from there, that two men standing. Watching this place, the boss said, what a waste of part, no matter, all titans are replaceable, you will proceed to test that group of boys next, Kaguya, careful they are led by the Sunfire's kin, Kaguya said, yes, my lord, then we saw smoke slowly dissipated, there's a round sphere, that is Honor talent. He opened slowly the sphere and said, lucky bastard died thinking he won, then nephew picking an object and said, hey guys, did you look at any of these part? This tech is on another level, that guy did was use a photon blast, this technology should not exist, Rokash said, what's your point Cass? Nephew said, point is that, some very rich bastard paid for those 3 cybernetic enhancements, you have a foe with technology that the world doesn't know exist yet, Rokash said, I am awesome, his bet's Putin, Anyway, get me some shorts and let's get a move on, this location is compromised. Later that night, Hamlock Mansion, everyone watching breaking news that a large-scale terror attack was launched on our nation today. They targeted infrastructure, roadway, and government buildings. And also launched on several major public areas. Civilians are advised to stay in their home. The reporter reported to have cybernetic enhancements in their bodies. We awaits further for the details on this. Report are referring to them as an organized crime syndicate. Many are calling this the worst terror attacks since the war. 38 have been reported dead and over 200 injured, both human and Kaimayo. I am lost for words. I am sorry, we as a nation have witnessed today. While in the room Andrea is crying and Anton and Azam also crying while Chu is listening all these with angry face. Azam said, what goal can possibly justify such an act? Andrea said, this is beyond the military, we have to help. Kevin said, but keep it low, Kaimayo ban is still in effect. Andrea said, we shouldn't go out all. Anton, Chu, Louise, remember Inspector Ian? Check in with him tomorrow, see what help we can offer. Chu said, the things that killed those people. Azam said, report is saying basically the exact same thing, augmented limbs, mechanical weaponry, and believe it or not, talents, whatever they are, they're Kaimayo, it's Kaimayo cyborgs. Chu was angrily said that's enough for him, he don't need know what he's killing. Kevin was surprised and next second he sharp his gaze for unknown future. The following day's Republic Bank, there was security officer who greeting Ms. Ri, she goes to counter and said, she like to make a deposit. Then there was a big blast happened in her background and she turns there, a Kaimayo cyborg's lady with her 6-spider robotic arm, a horn on her head smiling standing there, killed security and she said, she smell Kaimayo blood. She like to make a withdrawal, then Miss Ri said, to her next lady, Miss lock yourself in the vaults. Then Cyborg attack his spider arm that hit him Ri on her shoulder, she is kneel down on ground while Cyborg lady said, you are S rank Phara Ri, then from Ri's hand, a old pointed long bone appeared, she cuts the Cyborg spider arm and said, excellent, police officer help me hold off her then, she's ready to fight. While Cyborg lady with smiling face said, she bet she is stronger than you, S rank, then she attacked from 2 spider arm which Ms Ri deflects 1 spider arm and another she throw 3 bone structure on her. Cyborg lady grab one of bone and said, she see your moves before you make them, Kaimayo, then they both jump on each other with their Kaimayo weapon, to kill each other.